Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are. Now today's going to be interesting because yesterday night we had a completely full moon. Now, that being said, last time I was at the lake, the water was in the 60s. So, full moon, water in the 60s. We all kind of know what that means. But we had a cold front move through, hence the hoodie that I have on, and we had frost on the ground yesterday morning. And we've had rain move in this morning. I have no idea what's going to happen. All I know is that I had to go to the Ace Hardware and buy a lock for my trailer because last time I was at the lake, someone cut the lock off of my trailer, and that's it. And the only reason I know that they did that is because I have the keys and not the lock, and I distinctly remember putting the lock on the morning before I left to go to the lake. Boys and girls, it is just one of them things. It's one of them days. It's going to be a fun day. It's going to be an interesting day. We've got to get to the lake. We got to see what's going to go down. But by all accounts, there should be a bunch of fish up here that want to eat a wacky rig that are spawning. Hopefully the big females have moved up. But we just got to go fishing, and we got to find out. And so, yeah, let's head to the lake. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to fishing. A little bitty. No, little dude. Oh, little one. Ladies and gentlemen, we're making cookies again today. We're making cookies. It's funny. It's just funny, like how you, I mean, the thing is, though, you come up here and you do this and you weed and you weed and you weed through them, and then eventually you run into a big one. We've got a little bit more of a chance today to actually be able to fish more of this stuff. I had to leave here the other day just because the wind got blowing. I actually had to just get off the water. I had some stuff to do, but wind is not blowing like it was the other day today, so we're actually going to have some chance to like go and fish some stuff that I wanted to fish and check some stuff and hopefully find a few bigger fish. But right now it's just all little ones, all little cookie cutters. Logo. Well guys, we've been fishing for a little while now. Been running around quite a bit, kind of piecing some stuff together. We've caught a couple on the little chatter bait here, and we've caught quite a few on the wacky rig. Just nothing of any size again, just like the other day, which is interesting to me. I mean, you know, the water's right. We had a full moon last night. You know, everything that should be right is right for these fish to be up here and to be spawning, and they're just not up here. And well, I think these males are up here. You know, I'm not seeing any bass fry, so let's just put it that way. I don't think we've had a massive like population of fish actually like spawn yet, because I'm not seeing bass fry yet, even though there are a lot of little males up here that seem to be like, you know, quote unquote fry garters. I still think most of these fish are just males moving up, getting ready to spawn. Lord have mercy, buddy. Now, you couldn't have done that if you tried. Come here. Come here. Come here. And, you know, see, like he's pissing, which makes me think, you know, they're ready. It's just like these females haven't moved up here yet and haven't wanted to start making beds, or I mean, not moved up on a bed that a male's made. So, I don't know. It's very interesting, to say the least. This has just been such an interesting year, and I mean, a lot of it has to do with the temperatures we've been having. You know, I mean, it has been cold. Like I said yesterday morning, there was frost on the ground, so it got down into almost freezing temperatures. I think the low yesterday night was like 35. I mean, so, you know, 3 degrees off of freezing. But I think that's what's kind of making these fish be a little bit hesitant, not want to move up here and spawn. But I mean, I'm getting bites, just like you saw there, and they seem to be wanting the wacky rig and this little chatterbait. It's that little mini max chatterbait. I'm running a Berkeley, the deal on the back of it, just like a little mini the deal. This little thing right here, just little itty bitty, but man, it gets bit. What's cool about it is it's a ½ ounce, and so you're able to throw it on like a normal chatterbait setup, but it just gets bit. Big ones, little ones, everything. So yeah, we're gonna stay after. We're gonna keep on tossing this little dude, keep on tossing around the general, and see what we can get done. 45. Yeah, I'll probably fish till about 3 and then get out of here. There we go, little bitty one. Little bitty. I'm telling you, I'm catching them, and they're all the same size. Come here and stop it. Yep, I'm baking cookies again. I mean, these little bastards, I mean, every single damn one of them's the same exact size. It's like they all got the... Oh yeah, they're like, yeah, it's like them little bitty ones like you buy in the bags, you know, like little kid chocolate chip cookies. Yeah, like it can't even be like good sized chocolate chip cookies. It's like these little crappy ones. And the thing is, it's like they all got together and said, all right, all the 12-inch 1-pounders, let's move up and we're all going to eat Alex's general. But yes, I'm just going to keep going. A little bit better one. Okay. There you go, guys. I mean, not much better, but a little bit bigger than we've been catching. But he just hit the bottom of the damn boat. That's funny.
The one thing about when I'm fishing a wacky rig that you're going to notice is that I move pretty quick. Very target oriented with the wacky rig. You know, I'll take time and slow down and fish certain things, and you know, let the wacky rig kind of soak in certain areas. But for the most part, I'm throwing it in there, I'm letting it sink to the bottom, twitching it a couple times, and I just keep moving. I treat it almost like a flipping bait, because to me it's one of those things that I'm going to waste a bunch of time fishing this thing all the way back to the boat like you would a shaky head or a jig or maybe like an unpegged Texas rig or something like that. You know, it's just not worth that amount of time for me when I can hit, you know, 500 targets in a day just throwing it quick like that and kind of treating it like a flipping bait versus dragging it all the way back in the boat. I could probably not even fish half of that. And so it's just something to keep in mind. You know, I definitely probably could like pull off some of this stuff a little bit deeper and maybe try to find some of these fish staging up, but I really think it's one of those things that those bass they're here, like they're up shallow. I don't know if they're just not eating. There's one right there, but you know, it's like I don't know, you know. And last time we were here, we had a little bit of success by kind of throwing in places maybe more than once, and I've been doing that quite a bit today, where we would catch one this size and then the female would be up there, you know, sitting with them. But again, maybe it's just one of those things that, you know, that little bit of a cold snap that we had hit some of those females in the head, pushed them back off, and we just gonna have to wait for them to get back up here. But there's another great example of just kind of target oriented. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'll pull my, if I can get this gosh dang thing unhung. This is why I use this hook. There's a lot of people. I've been trying to tell you guys about this hook for a long time. Make sure to link it down below. This thing freaking, I love this hook. It gets them just like that. Makes it where it's hard to come off. And when it's a 5-pounder and they do that, you want to make sure and do that. But you guys can probably see right there, just those logs laying in the water. And that's really what I'm targeting. Just kind of throw up against those things. That's where those fish tend to be sitting. And the reason they're sitting there is not only is that a good piece of cover that allows them to ambush stuff, allows them to eat, but it's also a good piece of cover to make a bed right next to. And this little pocket that I'm in, that's kind of what I'm focusing on as far as like putting the pattern together, is anywhere I can find, you know, hard bottom, which this is hard bottom that mixes kind of substrates, meaning like you got rocks with, you know, gravel or sand top bottom next to hard pieces of cover. That's what those fish want to sit next to, because they're staging up, they're getting ready to spawn, they're getting ready to make babies, and that's the kind of stuff they need to actually do that and make a bed, get hung in trees and stuff like that. But to make a bed and to make a viable bed, you know, you want clear enough water, you want a good hard bottom, a good hard substrate, and right there actually sits one, just spooked one. If we can get this unhung, he's sitting right here. He may be on a bed, may not be, I don't know. Gets this unhung, we'll toss something over to him, see if we can get him to bite. I mean, he's sitting right there. But yeah, so you guys can probably see the bottom now that we're up here a little bit. I'm getting this unhung. I mean, it's just kind of these bigger stones. You got some kind of sand clay mix, a little bit of gravel. You got plenty of wood and stuff up here. It's the perfect bottom composition. And we'll see if we can get this fish to eat. Perfect bottom composition for a bass to make a bed on, and that's what we're wanting. So here's this fish. Let's see if he'll swim over. Yep, he's gonna swim over and eat it. Maybe. Oh, maybe it just spooked him. I don't know. But yeah, so that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm doing. That's kind of the key in today's pattern that I'm putting together, is just looking for those areas that largemouth can spawn on. Anything that's kind of a hard bottom or a, you know, a sand bottom that was surrounded by stuff that they can get up next to and spawn on. That's what they want to be on, and that's where we've been catching fish. And so we're going to keep just pounding around on them. There's another one. A little bit bigger. These fish have seemed to move into the shadows here. See, this is a bite that it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. That's why I keep fishing it, is it because it's not a bite that'll go anywhere anytime soon, or this particular, like really for the rest of the year. I mean, I'm going to catch fish essentially the rest of the year throwing a wacky rig up shallow around shaded lines around places like this. It's just a bite that happens around here. It's a bite that happens all throughout the country. I mean, I've done this from Florida to Michigan, but the reason I keep doing it is because eventually these big ones will move up here somewhere. Right, here's another one. And you know, these fish, like I said, they've started using this shade, because last time I was here and was doing this bite, they were spread out a little bit more, and there's 2 fish fighting over that thing right now. That's cool. A couple little schoolers there. But last time I was here and did this bite, the sun was in. Oh, that's a little bit better fish. And so these fish were spread out a little bit more. Well, when the sun gets out and gets up and these shade lines get hard like they are right now, what'll happen is they'll start to concentrate more into that shade, because a bass does not have eyelids, nor does he have glasses. So the only way to protect their eyes is in the shade. And so they'll start using those shade lines and hanging out in them. And you can catch the same, you know, fish that you were catching before, but you're just gonna have to get in the shade and fish around the shade. But that's 2 little bit better ones there. I wouldn't say they were giant, but definitely bigger than the average that we've been catching, which is fun. And then that one had one following it, so that's good. Just keep heading down through here. Just keep on catching them. A little bit of one. Yeah, that's smallmouth. Heck yeah. Smallmouth there. Look how pretty he is. That's awesome. Oh no! Well, I think we finally need to replace that one. That's hilarious. That's one I've caught literally every fish this morning on that general right there up to this point. It finally ripped. That's funny. That's a little bit better. Feels a little bit better. Yeah. Maybe? No, not really. Thought it was. It's funny how the average size down this bank, though, is just slightly bigger. That poor fish has been caught, too. These fish have been caught a bunch. Poor things. That one's got a... You guys can probably see it, that cut. That's a hook mark. Thanks, buddy. The one thing I did, guys, before we came back in here is I actually sat down and retied my leader. And I retied to a 7-pound leader. I started this morning with a 10-pound leader, dropped down to a 7-pound leader. And the reason that I did that is a couple years ago, I started experimenting with different leader lengths and different leader line sizes when it came to throwing a wacky rig and throwing a general. And what I found was that if I drop my leader line size, that general would sink just a tiny bit quicker and have a little bit more action than other times. And it's not to say that like throwing it on 10 or 12 pounds is going to inhibit the action, like to the point that, you know, it doesn't have any action. It's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is that when it sinks just a little bit quicker, that wobble is going to be just a little bit harder. And I think sometimes, you know, they don't want like a Texas rig bait that's dropping really fast, but they also don't want something that's like dropping super slow. And so by dropping my leader line down, I'm able to get that to sink just a little bit quicker and get some of those fish to come out and to eat that thing. And you know, like I said, I figured this out a couple years ago. I just started playing with leader line size and length, and I never noticed the size make any difference, you know, if I have a super long leader or a super short leader. But what I did notice was when I would drop down, you know, from like an 8 to a, or from like a 10 to an 8, or even like a 10 to a 7, that I could pick up a few more bites. And that's what we've done in this pocket. Look at this. That fish, that was wicked. I don't know if you guys could just see that, but I hooked one in that bush. Another fish come out here and grabbed it out of his mouth, and I hooked him for just half a second, and then he pulled off. That was wicked. But anyway, so like I was saying, dropping down that leader line size can make this thing sink just a little bit quicker, and I can tend to get a few more bites just by doing that. Now you got to be careful with it, especially if you're fishing around any sort of cover or anything like that, because you will, you know, break it off if you get hung up around stuff. I mean, you guys saw I just got hung up around that dock cable, so you got to be careful with it. Retie a bunch, make sure that your leader's, you know, tied well, that everything's put together well. But it's something that I've seen can make a huge difference in just getting a few bites and then picking up more bites than normal. But that shit right there was cool. That one ate it. That's funny. I watched him swim right up on that rock and grab that thing. That's funny. A little bit better one. Oh, there he goes. Oh, that's funny. Well, I've got it. Watched him eat it. That was fun. Little dude. Oh, really? Is this fish? No way. I don't even know what this mess is right here. There we go. There we go. I think, I don't know. That fish may have been hung in that line. I'm not sure. Another one. Golly. Yep. Alright. I just threw over this rope on accident. Got this fish hooked. We'll just go over here and get it. There we go. That was fun. That was funny. I got a feeling I could probably catch a fish on topwater, to be totally honest with you, the way that they're coming up and eating this Cinco. But we're gonna keep on tossing around La General. Accent and baby bass. One of my favorite ones. I gotta retie.